I'm the local chapter leader of Strong Towns Las Vegas, an urban planning organization. I was originally in opposition, but I spoke to some supporters, and they changed my mind, and now I'm neutral on this because I realize there's some good things about this bill. And I applaud all the efforts to make our communities, our infrastructure very, very efficient. I do have some indirect concerns. First thing is that we have concerns about the fact that this will perpetuate urban planning policies that are very inefficient, such as building arterial roads, as you can see here, that are very inefficient and costly. We also believe that if our society focuses more on transit, then the need for such thing would come down a lot. As electric cars are becoming more popular, we should focus more on a per mile system where it's an addition to the car registration. But I would also like to see that if this situation is extended, that we find other ways to lower gas prices. Because Nevada right now pays number 4 for fuel costs. And I hope I'm on topic. I apologize if I'm not. But the reason for that, because according to many news sources and the governor, is that Nevada mainly gets its gasoline supply from California. And when there's refinery outages and standards, it affects the gas prices of Reno, Las Vegas area, and even Phoenix. Because I was in Tucson, it was significantly cheaper than not only here, but the Phoenix area. So we hope that these issues are addressed, and we can work with some deal to make sure that all parties will benefit. But thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to engage, share information, and make things better.
Thank you so much, Chair Nguyen, members of the Senate Committee on Growth and Infrastructure. My name is Anahit Baghshetyan. For the record, that is ANAHIT BAGHSHETSYN, and I'm a research assistant at Nevada Policy. Today, Nevada Policy comes in strong opposition of AB 530. While maintaining roads and improving infrastructure undoubtedly is a major goal for the Silver State, it should not be done at the stake of the voters and at the stake of election integrity. Under current law, any additional annual increases in motor vehicle fuel taxes beyond 2026 require an approval of majority of Clark County voters in the November 2026 general election, as we heard today. AB 530 would remove this requirement and instead will allow Clark County Commission to vote into the tax increase for another decade simply by 2/3 majority of the Clark County Commission. This change would strip the voters of their essential right of participating in elections, and I know that in the support testimony earlier we heard that this would provide more avenues of public engagements, but public engagement does not mean public choice, nor does it mean public support. Secondly, beyond the issue of voter oversight, this bill is fundamentally a tax increase. At a time where Nevadans are already struggling with various taxes, and fuel tax is a tax that's imposed on the majority of the community because most of the Nevadans are commuters. This is going to come as a burden to all of the voters and all of the residents in the Clark County. And lastly, while infrastructure for the funding is essential, the solution should not come at the expense of taxpayer rights and decrease trust in the legislature. Removing the voters' ability to weigh in on continued tax increases would erode the public trust in the elected officials, legislative process, and just set a dangerous precedent for bypassing direct democratic voice. So for those reasons today, we urge you to oppose this legislation. Thank you so much.
Wiz Rozard, Deputy State Director with Americans for Prosperity. That's spelled WIZROUZARD, and we are in strong opposition to AB 530. But Chair Nguyen, I do want to start by thanking all of the folks who came in, testified in support, a lot of small businesses, individuals who help ensure that Nevada roads are in stellar condition to ensure we're able to commute from point A to point B every day. The caller kind of mentioned it earlier, the presentation, much like last committee, kind of creates a false output in terms of what this bill is about. This bill isn't about the operations. This bill is about representation and where that representation lies when it comes down to determining taxes. And at the heart of our opposition is a provision in Section 1, subsection 5, that seeks to allow the Board of County Commissioners to continue imposing annual fuel tax increases without voter approval. This is important. Currently in Clark County, that representation does not reflect a lot of parties, smaller parties, libertarian parties, American Independent Party, and so on and so forth. So those voices won't be heard, yet alone represented when these taxes are resolved or passed through ordinance to be increased. And so currently the process ensures that those voices, however small they are represented when it's required to go to by the vote of the people. And so for these reasons, we urge you to vote no to ensure that the representation and the vote of the people are housed in their hands and not the elected officials that oftentimes does not reflect even the smallest voice. And so we appreciate the bill sponsor bringing this forward, along with the folks who are here to support the small businesses that do an amazing job in ensuring that our road works are done correctly. But this isn't about the operation, this is about the representation. And so we urge you to vote no. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Devin Livesey, Devin Livzieyey. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Clark County Republican Party. I'm here in opposition to this bill. Not only does this bill remove the voters from the decision-making on this bill at large, it also affects the cost of everything that we purchase or do in Clark County. Do not be fooled. Fuel tax affects the bottom line of every company that has to drive. It affects the efforts of every person who has to drive to a doctor's appointment regardless of their age. Giving birth and bringing your child home costs more if you have to pay extra in fuel costs. It affects every aspect of life in Clark County and Nevada. These extra fuel costs affect the bottom line of every business that operates in the state of Nevada and the country. Those fuel costs and those bottom line effects are directly passed on to the consumer. So by paying a few extra cents, whatever it happens to be in a fuel tax, it costs me more to buy a head of lettuce or to drive down to this facility today to talk to the fine senators up there that we're talking to. It costs everybody in this room more money to go home after they finish testifying, which I would also like to say that this was a great turnout, and it's very nice to see this many people come out, and whether it's opposition or support of it, it's great to see the people of Las Vegas involved in this. But because of the cost that this has, and it is a trickle down and very much a ripple effect that affects all aspects of society and the cost of society in Clark County and Nevada at whole, we strongly oppose this bill and hope that you vote this way and allow the citizens of Clark County and Nevada to decide if they want to continue to pay this tax. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Wynn and committee. I am Jim DeGraffenreid, JIM-DEGRAFFENREID. I'm Nevada's Republican National Committee man here today in behalf of the Nevada Republican Party in opposition to AB 530. We understand that taxes are necessary for infrastructure, and we're certainly sympathetic to Senator Hansen's point that we need to find a way to have electric vehicles pay their fair share, but Clark County taxpayers were promised the right to vote on these taxes. There should be no mistake that AB 530 is a tax increase on the people of Clark County without the ability to weigh in as they were promised. In their 2021 decision on legislature of the state of Nevada et al. Versus James Settlemeyer and all of the 2019 Republican senators, the Nevada Supreme Court affirmed that the extension of sunsetting taxes is a tax increase requiring a 2/3 vote. At that time, the Republican senators led by Senator Settlemeyer led an expensive and extensive effort to protect Nevada taxpayers and voters, and it's important that we respect that effort. To those who would hide behind this being enabling legislation only, I think everyone can agree that if cleared to raise these taxes, it's 100% certain that the Clark County Board will do so. This is a guaranteed tax increase. More important than the increase, however, it is unconscionable for this legislature to openly deprive voters of their rights under the law, as the bill does in subsection 5. The very fact that subsection 5 exists tells us that there will be a bill just like this one prior to the 2036 election, to again allow the legislature to play loosey to the voters Charlie Brown and pull that football away yet again. Despite the fact that a majority of Assembly members fell prey to the arguments of the bill's supporters, you have the opportunity here in the Senate to right that wrong and protect Nevada voters and taxpayers by rejecting this inappropriate taking of their rights, and we hope that you will do so. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Janine Hansen. I'm the state president of Nevada Families for Freedom. I watched the presentation in 2023 and in the assembly on this bill. I think it's quite impressive, and I think that if they were able to share that information with the voters, that most likely they would be willing to vote for it. But I think they're afraid of the will of the voters. And I think that's very unfortunate that they would deny what they promised to allow the voters to have an opportunity to vote. And it's really kind of a joke to say that they can vote in 10 years from now. That's an insult to voters. When Governor Lombardo vetoed this last session, he said a decision on this issue, which impacts household budgets every day, is most appropriately rendered by the voters. And why is that? Because every single one of them is greatly impacted. The Institute of Policy Innovation in the United States said the total tax burden is 56% of annual personal consumption spending. That's for federal, state, local taxes, including hidden taxes. It's no wonder people can't afford food or a gas tax increase because of the overriding burden of the federal government. In fact, in Clark County, some 15% of people are food insecure. 1 in 7 and 1 in 5 children are food insecure. Is it any reason why they might be fearful of extending a tax without allowing what they promised before? And that is a vote of the people. I think this is a significant issue that bears upon the real intent. Are we going to ignore the will of the people? Are we going to supersede them? The reason they're taking it to the county commission is because they're assured it's going to pass. But they should be willing to bring this to the people and to allow the people to make the decision as they promised. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair and member of the committee. I am Miranda Hoover with 3C House, representing the Energy and Convenience Association of Nevada. And we are neutral on AB 530 and would simply like to provide the following information for the committee's benefit. As of April 1st, 2025, the Clark County gasoline tax per gallon is at 0.758. This rate includes a 0.184 per gallon for federal tax, 0.23 for state, 0.10 for county, and 0.23 for indexing. Other includes petroleum cleanup, specs, and federal oil spill liability at 0.014, for a total of 0.758. The index rate is adjusted on July 1st of each year. For the last few years, the rate has increased by approximately 2 cents. The rate may be higher or lower based on inflation of the Producer Price Index, or PPI. Currently, Clark County has 6 fuel tax indexing bonds outstanding, totaling $801 million. Each of these bonds has a 20-year term, meaning the newest bond, which was issued in 2024, is set to expire in 2044. There are 9 Nevada gas stations adjacent to the Arizona border, 3 each in Laughlin, Boulder City, and Mesquite. Each of these stations have gas prices that are at least 31 cents per gallon higher than stations in Arizona. This price inequity is creating an economic hardship for local businesses in Nevada. And I'd like to offer that if this bill passes, indexing will continue for the next 10 years, and the index tax rate will continue to increase. However, should the bill fail, the index tax will continue but will not increase. Thank you, and I hope this information is helpful to you as you consider AB 530.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Thank you for allowing me to address you today. Please excuse my voice. We were cheering on our home team yesterday, the Golden Knights. Go Knights. They came through with the win, so that's great. And that's what we're here to talk about today, is being local, keeping things local. As a member of the Labor's Local 872 in Southern Nevada, and as a resident of Clark County for over 20 years now, I sure would hate to drive on bumpy roads, cracked roads, destroyed roads by traffic moving. So AB 530 is essential in order to keep our infrastructures up to date and smooth, and bumpy roads are just horrible. So with the over 50 members that are sitting behind me and in the overflow room, I don't know if you can see that on your screens, but I am here representing the Labor's Local 872 with over 3,500 families. And AB 530 does put our membership to work. We rely on it. I myself came through the apprenticeship program where I was able to learn and earn, and I spent most of my career working on roads funded by this particular bill. And a couple people have already mentioned it. It is existing. We just want to continue it. We did have some really good conversations outside before this started, and it's not a new tax. We have instilled our confidence in our county commission members that we've elected. So we encourage you, for the sake of people learning construction industry, for us that currently work in the construction industry, and for those of us that are just residents who drive on the roads, to please pass AB 530. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Vice Chair and members of the committee. My name is Janine Hansen. I'm the state president of Nevada Families for Freedom. I was interested to listen to the presentation and all of the testimony. I didn't hear one word about what this bill really does. It doesn't stop funding for these important projects in Clark County. What it does is take away the right of the people to vote. They were promised 10 years ago that they would have the opportunity to vote on this again. Last session, the same bill was in AB 359, which the governor vetoed, and he said he was concerned about it because it circumvented an affirmative vote of the people, and it concerned him. It impacts every household budget every day and is most appropriately rendered by the voters. I think it's too bad that we are afraid of a vote by the people. You have a wonderful presentation here today about why this is necessary. If that was shared with the voters, I suspect they'd probably be willing to vote for it. But are we afraid of a vote by the people? Do we believe in democracy? I think it's very important that we have the vote of the people and not just turn this over to the county commission. And there should have been information on that when the bill was presented. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair and Committee. My name is Lynn Chapman, and I'm the State Treasurer of the Independent American Party. And we too are very concerned about the vote of the people. 10 years ago, they were promised and given this beautiful rug. It's beautiful, it's clean, it's new, and 10 years later, that rug's been pulled out from under them, and that's the wrong way to treat the voters. Just like Janine Hansen just said, if you present to the people what you have in mind to do, they possibly will be voting for it. So because of the taking away the vote of the people, that's the wrong thing to do. And so that's why we are in opposition of this bill. Thank you.
Wiz Rozard, Deputy State Director with Americans for Prosperity. That's spelled WIZROUZARD. You know, in the effort of time here, because it's been quite a long presentation, I really reaffirm kind of what was shared here today. The outcomes that you're seeing in the presentations is not what the bill is about. The bill is simply about we the people. And as they shared here 10 years ago, it was established that they would have a right to have a voice on this type of matter. And I think if we took this presentation to every door, overwhelmingly, I think Nevadans would support it. But to pass this bill and circumvent the right of the people to actually put their best foot forward in terms of what they think is best is the wrong way to go. So with American for Prosperity, we support the voice of the people, and so we urge you to oppose Assembly Bill 530. Thank you.
I will ditto the previous callers. I really don't want any more burdens on everyday Nevadans. This is a regressive tax. Nevada's prime attraction is a low tax climate. While we appreciate infrastructure is being funded, but many people like myself who are cab drivers are going to bear the burden. The fact is that we need to address why Nevada's gas prices are among the highest in the country, among the 4th and 5th highest. Part of it is gas taxes, but the other reason is because our gasoline supplies mainly come from California. Their standards, their refinery outages, and so forth. It is absolutely ridiculous. In fact, I'm calling you from Tucson, and gas is under $3 a gallon because their sources are considerably different. The real problem that we have right now is our growth policies that we've done for decades, and it's still ongoing.
Sir, could you please stay on
costly and
topic for the
inefficient.
bill?
Well, yeah, arterial routes are costly and inefficient. That's what's causing a lot of the costs and all the deficits we need to repair. Is this on topic? Is it? Yeah, Blue Diamond, Craig, Rainbow, these are all costly, inefficient modes of transportation. We have to stop building them. This is why we're revenue starved. This has to be up to the vote for the people. So we urge you to vote no, and for heaven's sake, explore getting gas from other means that would have a lower burden on consumers. Thank you so much.